In January, we were at around 20K revenue. Now we're not even 8 months later, close. But we just did 70K for the month of July in overall revenue.
What's up, everybody? Today, I have my good friend Anthony with us. Good online friend. We haven't met in person yet, but good friend, client. We've been working with him for a while now, and he just got back from Bali.
Yeah, I was in Bali 2 months with Luke Belmar, so it was a good trip. Lots of learning, so I'm excited to drop some gems in this interview.
Sir. Yes, sir. What were you guys doing together, by the way? I'm curious.
So one day he just hit me up and he was like, "Hey, bro, come to Bali with us. We have a villa." And it was that straightforward. So while we were there, the main purpose was dojo mode, just 30 days, eating clean, training together, sun, stretching, but more importantly, crushing work, hitting our goals. And then he's working on Capital Club, as I'm sure you saw.
And your program, let's talk about your program real quick. It's an e-com coaching program. And you were helping him with some like e-com, like coaching inside Capital Club, I imagine.
Yeah. So some background on me. I used to have a gaming YouTube channel where I grew a Clash of Clans channel to 1 million subscribers. And then when that channel plateaued, I got into Shopify dropshipping. So ever since end of 2019, I've been full-time e-commerce. And about 11 months ago, I started posting dropshipping videos on a YouTube channel. When I came to Nick from Launch Socials, I had just launched a Discord community for my YouTube channel where I'm teaching them dropshipping.
Yeah, so the Clash of Clans stuff is crazy to me because when I was like middle school, like just getting into high school, I was all about Clash of Clans. And it's interesting to me because I think a lot of guys have that experience like in our space, the online business space, where they played like maybe like some mobile video games or some online video games or some kind of like almost competitive, like building, like you got to hit the checkpoints, you got to hit the levels, like level up type of video games.
Grinding.
Yeah. And like, I was just funny because basically everyone that I know in entrepreneurship, maybe not all of them, but like that does like online entrepreneurship, business, stuff like that has like touched either Clash of Clans or like one of these games like Zelda or something like that. It's just like funny to see the pattern repeat.
Yeah, no, I think most online entrepreneurs started off as gamers. Like that's how you have the ability to sit on your computer for hours and just crank out work because it's no different than, like playing COD or any other video game.
Gamers and sports, and 100%. Yeah, it's no different. Like this is a video game right here, right?
Game of life.
Yes, sir. And I'm curious. So I want to jump into like one of the first questions I have is, where were you at when we first talked? I mean, you mentioned the YouTube channel, you mentioned the Discord for drop shipping, but what did all that look like, and why were you kind of seeking help?
Okay. Yeah. So we started talking about 8 months ago for some perspective.
Yep.
And when we were first working together, my info product and personal brand was probably doing 15 to 20K revenue per month. And that would have been split between 6 to 8K MRR from the Discord, a $35 subscription. And then the remainder would have come from like one-on-one mentorships, which pricing at the time, again, this was a while ago, if I had to range it anywhere from 1 to 3K, depending on the length, whether it was like 3 months, 6 month, or 12 month. But January, around 20K revenue from the info product side of things.
Got it. And what had you tried before? Like well, before I get to that, what do you feel like the problem that you were facing was? Was it basically just like speed and like a little bit of just like awareness on how you're going to scale it, or is there something different?
So I only have experience with e-commerce, Shopify stores. I have never sold anything from the personal brand perspective. So all of this high ticket sales stuff, I was coming into pretty new. So I knew how to build landing pages and build websites. So like setting up a ClickFunnels opt-in, super easy because I build websites. Yep. But what I didn't have on lock would be, like a high ticket sales structure. Like one of the first things Launch Socials provided was a sales framework for calls. And within a week after getting that framework, I paid for my fee, like the entire launch socials cost from that one variable. And before this
Incredible.
call, you and I were chatting, like I asked you, like, what was it that has allowed you to scale launch socials? And you were able to spill those gems onto me. So a lot of times you may be conducting business and doing decent, but just hearing one or two new concepts can 2-3x your revenue with very minimal work. And the sales call framework was one. You helping me with my ClickFunnels opt-ins, CRM, basically all these really small details that you have introduced to help me refine. Those have been the game changers. And going into it, I wasn't aware of those.
Understood. And what did you try before? Or were you the first like thing you explored? Or, like, was there anything else that you were like, I'm gonna try this, like this might work to like double, triple like what I'm doing?
So yeah, I used to just have like a Calendly link I would let some people book to, and then I would hop on the call. So the calls, like I would close some people, and mainly because like I had a personal presence already. So there is some like familiarity going into it, but like the flow of my calls wasn't there. So like some things I had tried, like different styles on calls. My CRM was not as organized as it should be. I had somewhat accounting, but it wasn't there. And then I had tried some Zapier automations. And like, I thought they were pretty good at the time, but after I saw yours, I was like, shit, like, dude, this is like kindergarten, and you're like doing rocket science with yours.
That's funny. So, what do you think the biggest change was in all of that? And I think actually like something that we should talk about more in general, like on our marketing, is we should talk about the CRM and the sales stuff more, because clearly that was a big value add for you. But like, what do you think the biggest change was in your business besides like sales increasing and stuff like that? We'll talk about that in a second. What do you feel like the biggest change that you haven't mentioned was?
Yeah, so the biggest change is with every piece of content I'm putting out, I'm trying to collect something from my viewer. So let's say I make a YouTube video, like a TikTok ad strategy. Maybe at around like minute 3 in the video, I'll be like, hey guys, if you want this exact checklist right here, just click the link below. It's free. And all they have to do is enter their email. I get their info. In exchange, they get the free resource. So biggest change is being able to, no matter what I'm putting out, there's some intention behind it. I'm never just putting something out to throw it out. There's usually some sort of value exchange going on.
Understood. And why do you think that happened? And why do you think that is the thing that changed, and why is that valuable?
So when I first started YouTube, I was just giving my Discord link, like, hey guys, join my Discord. And I was growing that community, which it was working, but I wasn't getting any of their information. And it's valuable to get your customer name, email, because then you can set up emails on the back end. So like people, they get your free resource, and then the next day they get an email about your Discord, and you talk about your premium and how awesome it is, where they might have not known about that. And then the importance of having a CRM too, like just for overall accountability, like everyone who opts into your stuff, people who are interested in your premium, it just helps with organization all around. And like I said before, I had some like my own internal structures, but it wasn't as organized. So having a nice condensed system not only keeps things more tidy, but it lets you move a little faster.
100%. Amazing, bro. I'm like, I'm stoked. I'm super stoked to hear that. I'm super stoked to like, because you got, like you said earlier, you kind of went dark for a little bit, so I hadn't heard from you. You got back, and just to hear that you're crushing it is just incredible. And where would you say that you're currently at from like a numbers standpoint
Yeah.
compared to where you started?
So in January, we were at around 20K revenue. And one disclaimer too, for whoever's watching this, in April, May, and the beginning of June, I took a 2-month break from all social media where I wasn't posting on YouTube. So new people weren't joining in the Discord. I had a little bit of churn. So despite that little setback, now we're not even 8 months later, close. But we just did 70K for the month of July in overall revenue. And then in terms of profit with my personal life, like even after like rent, all expenses, traveling, everything, we still walked away with 50K for the month just from the info products. That's not even including like my Shopify stores that are running on top of that.
Incredible, bro. It's incredible. And
So, bro, yeah, it's crazy. It's pumping
is
for
it
sure.
basically a triple or almost a
Yeah,
4x?
almost a 4x. And one thing that's crazy, like some perspective, my old YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers, at its peak, I made 30K a month. And right now I have 20,000 subscribers and I'm making almost triple that, 2.5x that. So like, again, like in the past, I was just going at it with sheer like content to try and grow with like ad revenue. But now, it's more of like a sniper where I'm only posting 1 video a week. I have intention with the video, and there's a goal, with each piece of content I'm putting out.
And those people are way higher value because they're just in a different niche. They're in the business, e-com, whatever niche, 100%. And that's amazing. And I'm curious though, like what's coming next? What's the future? You're 50K month net right now. You kind of got to like the goal that we talked about originally, when we first started working together. But what do you feel is the next piece of the puzzle, the next phase for you in regards to just goals and what you're doing? I know we talked about some short form stuff, but what do you think's next?
So I really want to improve my product quality, which is what we were talking about earlier. I
Yep.
have some students who have done 100K plus. Like my number one student, Jason Riptide, he did 400K on one store last month, and he has
Wow.
another one doing like 50K as well. He's crushing it. And I have a few others who have hit that 100K per month milestone. I would say top 5%. And then top 50% of my students right now are like 20K a month. So I'm looking to just help people get more results. I've had some people, join and like they think things will happen faster, like within like a week or two. And even though I try to communicate that clearly, I want the product to be so solid that anyone could take this and within, a month, instead of maybe 50% of people hitting 20K, maybe we raise that to 30, 40, or 50K. So being able to make it so whenever somebody is purchasing, like each dollar they're putting in,
Yep.
they feel like this was so much worth it. Like they would have spent more for how much value was inside.
Yep. And I think that like for anyone watching, that is probably the biggest thing that I have learned over the past 2 to 3 years is customer first. And I don't have the book right here. It's over there, but I was reading the Amazon book about Jeff Bezos. And just over and over and over, it's customer. What's the customer going to do? What does the customer want? How do we take care of our customers the most? How do we give the lowest price to our customers? How do we get the thing to our customers the fastest? Over and over. And that focus is really what takes your business to the next level. Because if no one gets results inside, or no one gets what they want, or they're unhappy, they're never going to come back, and they're going to tell all their friends that it sucks. So I love that focus. I think that especially at our age, not many people are focusing on things like that. And as soon as you can focus on the customer, it's just like it starts to open up like the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two more questions here. If there's like something that you could change or like have different about how we work together and what we've done, just your experience, what would it be?
So I think my like client relationship with you guys is probably different than like most people. So like to give perspective, when we joined, you gave me that sales framework. Like I implemented it. I never joined any classes initially. Like I just put that in, made the money, and I was like, damn, this is good. You shared some like sales stuff with me. I implemented. I'm like, damn, this is working. And I didn't take advantage of Launch Social's resources. Like you guys provide way more than I used. And like just the small bits that you gave me, like I would have paid the full price for on its own, even without the calls. So like you guys do a lot, like for viewers, there's always calls happening, always meetings, always some value. And what I would take advantage of, I wouldn't join the live calls. Like if I'm honest, like I was so happy with just the simplicity of what you shared. I was cool with that. But the call recaps are good. Like being able to open up like the Google Doc, see what was talked about on the call for the week, whatever. And then a few times like David Mendez, he shared like 6 links, like creating an offer, sales call strategy, building a CRM, like, and it was like 2 hours of raw content that was just shared one day. So I just like that you provide everything. All the info is really there. There's an abundance of info, in fact, and it's really just about taking action and putting it into place. I have some experience with content. So going into it, I wasn't like coming to you guys to help me with content ideas. I more so like I had the YouTube channel before, so I knew content. You guys still provided some ideas, but where you most helped me was with just the sales structure. And in terms of things I would want different, like everything was good. Communications there. If I send a message, I get a reply. And in terms of the value, again, I more than made the money back. So no major improvements. Like I guess just giving me the information sooner that I needed, but I don't know I need it until I get to that point.
Fair enough. Yeah, and until we chat about it, I guess. Super cool. It's super great to hear, bro. And what do you think is just like the thing you enjoyed most about it? I imagine you're probably gonna say, dude, I got the sales stuff right away and it worked. That's imagine what you're gonna say, but I'm curious.
It's I enjoy your workflows. Everything's very organized. And one of my biggest learnings has been working like for or with other people. Like if you've ever done freelancing work and like got to go inside of other people's organizations, seeing how they operate has been super pivotal in terms of how I structure my inside. Like as soon as I joined your program, I saw how you were communicating with students and I'm like, this is genius. So I implemented that into mine. And just being able to see things behind the scenes that you wouldn't otherwise see is invaluable. It's the simple
Incredible.
things like that.
Incredible. And I do think we do have like a very much, I know you're not on the live calls, but I'll often document like what we're doing to grow the business because we grow the same business that we show everyone else how to grow roughly, right? Social media growth and monetization. And yeah, we do have a lot of those insights. So it's super cool. Is there any last things that you want to add, that you want to say, any last feedback for me, that you want to end this call video off with?
No major feedback for you, but like to a viewer who's debating on joining, if their biggest, let's say, objection is like, okay, like I really want to, make this work, like this online personality thing. I've seen, these 7 other testimonials of people crushing it. So like they have hope, but there's always some fear in people. So my advice would be to just bite the bullet. Everything I have got has been from like taking a chance or investing into myself. So like there's always a small fee up front, but the return from that is always invaluable. Like when I joined Launch Socials, I think your pricing was a little lower, but either way, even with the new pricing, I still would have made my money back that first week working together. And for people who don't already have a personal brand yet, like for me, my YouTube info product was hitting 10, 20K per month in 3 to 4 months of starting that. So, I wouldn't procrastinate or delay. Just the sooner you can get started, then the sooner everything could, like manifest into reality per se.
Dude, super incredible. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you being here and ready to help you take it to the next level, man. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, bro. I'm excited to keep growing. And who knows, maybe in like 2, 3 months from now, we'll be back with 100K per month.
Yes, sir. Look forward to it, man. Thank you.
Sweet. Awesome, bro.